welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at Nvidia. The company just reported earnings, and we can see stock price after hours is up 1%. I do want to say during the earnings there was nothing crazy, right? It was no B, amazing B, nothing too scary, but I do believe there's a few things that investors should kind of know, and that's what I'm going to discuss in today's episode. So let's get started.
I do want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out fool.com/Jose to get the top 10 stocks to buy right now.
All right, so the first thing, if we take a closer look at just the quarterly revenue trend, we are seeing two things. And first is one that was very expected. The gaming market was down a nice amount year over year and quarter over quarter, sitting at about $1.6 billion this quarter compared to $2.2 billion last quarter and about $3.2 billion a year ago. So we definitely see this huge hit in the gaming market. Few reasons, right? The overall kind of inventory correction and also the kind of demand and slowdown in the crypto market. The other thing that I want to say was a very big deal was actually the data center market, right? The data center market was $3.8 billion, a small single digit increase quarter over quarter, but it was up a nice amount year over year. Here we can see data center revenue was actually up 31% a year ago, 1% sequentially. They still see huge growth on US cloud service providers and consumer internet companies. Unfortunately, the sequential growth was impacted by the softness in China. This softness in China is coming just from the overall consumer impact happening in that part of the region, but also a little bit happening with the regulations the United States government has kind of taken in place. Nvidia did release the A800, and they mentioned that these restrictions impacted their third quarter revenue, with the decline largely offset by alternative products into China. So it does seem like the A800 is helping out. So again, if we take a closer look at the revenue trend, I don't think anything was too crazy. I think just maybe some investors might be a little bit fearful of, hey, that data center quarter over quarter growth was not that big. But remember, today Nvidia did announce a huge partnership with Microsoft in the data center market, in the clouding market, to kind of sell thousands and thousands of GPUs, software stacks, and even networking solutions as well. So it does seem like the data center market is still pretty strong, especially here for North America companies. So the next thing I want to take a closer look, and I do believe this is probably the most important, was the outlook for the fourth quarter of their fiscal 2023. But before we go any further, guys, if you are enjoying the episode, make sure to hit the thumbs up, as it does help me grow my overall audience. If you want to support a little bit more, make sure to subscribe using my link at fool.com/Jose. Finally, if you are here, it means you're a semiconductor investor like myself, so you're going to enjoy this upcoming #1 semiconductor podcast. The link is above. Episode 3 should be coming out later this week. So let's take a closer look at that revenue, right? It's expected to be $6 billion. So $6 billion, that would actually only be a small single digit increase quarter over quarter. But this small sequential increase is telling me at least one thing, that there might be the bottom in the semiconductor market, right? We have seen for the past 3 quarters, revenue has actually declined, actually for the past 2. So kind of seeing more of a stable, maybe flat-line-ish, it kind of gives me this optimistic view that, hey, the bottom is out. During the earnings call, they do mention that they are expected to see minimal growth in the data center, also in the gaming market, and also in the automotive market. So those 3 markets are expecting small single-digit sequential growth. I was super excited to see that gaming growth there. So to me, it's telling me that, hey, at least we're hitting some form of bottom here. The other thing that I really did enjoy about the outlook was their gross margins, right? GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 63.2% and 66% respectively. And this is a huge improvement from what they reported this quarter alone and last quarter, right? This quarter, non-GAAP gross margins were 56%. Last quarter were 45.9%. Now they're expecting closer to that 60%. So it does seem like things are getting better. Another thing that could be happening is data center market and data center solutions tend to have higher gross margins. So obviously higher data center sales are obviously going to impact the gross margins. But at the end of the day, like I mentioned, we're seeing that flatline sequential growth on revenue, a flatline or small single digit sequential growth on the revenue, which kind of tells me that the bottom is somewhere here. Also, we're seeing an improvement on non-GAAP and GAAP gross margins, which is another kind of bullish case that, hey, the company has kind of already seen a majority of this inventory correction Maybe next quarter might not be the biggest growth, but I do believe the outlook from there might be a bit better. The other thing is I personally believe that the company is being very, very conservative for the fourth quarter of 2023. Rightfully so. The semiconductor market has numerous headwinds in the space right now. But to me, I don't know, some part of my gut feeling tells me that this revenue, quarter three, I wasn't expecting much. But for quarter four, after hearing that earnings call, I do believe this is a little bit on the conservative side. So again, we can see Nvidia stock isn't doing much after hours. Like I mentioned, I don't think there was anything crazy during their earnings call. I do believe in it, like I mentioned, this might have been the bottom in forms of revenue. That doesn't mean it's the bottom in forms of stock prices. Stocks can continue to be very, very volatile, but in the long term of things, there's numerous tailwinds here for the semiconductor giant Nvidia. So take care, have a good day, and see you next time.